What up, y'all? We are back with the Blockchain Bros, episode 3. What's going on, Dimitri?
Doing fine here, doing fine. Especially with the latest runs in cryptocurrency going on. I believe many traders, miners, and enthusiasts in cryptocurrency are going to be very happy in the last couple of days.
I know, right? It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, the gains and profits being made are simply insane. I already saw my profits being tripled from the investments I made. In April, March when there was the dip. So yeah, I'm very happy.
Yeah, I was telling you, like in the backstage, like I'm not gonna say a number online, but it's like basically, it's like I've seen a significant increase in my mining profits. It's just wow. I'm quite happy. I don't even care about power anymore. I'm just like, yo, dial these things up and get the hash rate up. I don't even care how much it costs now.
Yeah, that's probably a good mining or a cryptocurrency tip if you're a miner at the moment doing Ethereum or Bitcoin. Sorry, it might be wise to up the ante because your miners, with a bit of luck, will be paid off within a few days' time with the profits you're making.
I'm basically by, let me see, what's today? Today's Sunday. I'm thinking by like, if the prices stay the way they are right now, it's going to be like this month they'll be paid off. I mean, probably by the end of next week.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ethereum will hit above the 1K. Pretty certain of it at the moment. So yeah, if you're doing Ethereum, crank it up, get as much as you can, and profit. And afterwards, tune it down as you see the prices falling again.
Let me check right now. But when I checked earlier today, I woke up to a $830 Ethereum. Yeah, it's gonna break 1,000 today. Look at this. I don't know. Let me see if I can bring it up here. Ethereum is currently at 900. Oh, it's out of focus. I can't focus it. But basically, it's at $967 right now.
Yeah, it's going to break through because I know in the weekends not many are focusing on it, especially not stock markets where you can buy like I believe Robinhood or something where you can also buy crypto are not open at the moment, and I'm pretty sure starting from Monday there will be another jump upward.
Yeah,
it's a guess, but yeah.
Looking dang it, this thing, man, it's like every time I turn it around, this thing basically it I'm like a klutz today. Jeez. It tracks all of the cryptocurrency, and there's so little red and so much green. This thing is usually all red. It's usually bleeding, and now it's just almost all cryptos are up. It's insane.
Yeah, big corporations are finally waking up and doing a mass adaptation. Probably also because the dollar is continue to follow plunge down in value. So yeah, I believe it was Celsius and Hexcoin. Hexcoin I'm not immediately familiar with. I have to admit. Celsius, on the other hand, quite trustful of it. Not something immediately I'm on, but I did an analysis on my website. I was involved with them for some time just to check everything out. Very trustworthy, and I'm fairly certain in the continuation of this year they will go up. So definitely keep an eye out on those guys. And also Mashensky, the CEO of Celsius, he posts quite often very good predictions when it concerns Bitcoin. I believe he was 1 or 2 days off with his prediction of Bitcoin hitting above the 30K. So yeah, those guys know what's about.
Yeah, Hex is ranked 2692, up 1.83% today. It's valued under 1 cent a coin currently. I haven't been watching. I don't know much about it. And what's Celsius?
Celsius has to do with DeFi. So yeah,
Celsius network looks nice.
Yeah, it was actually one of the very first that I did an analysis on when it concerned DeFi back on my website. By reason they're one of the more renowned. It was one of the reasons I put a little backdraft on the Bancor token, because Celsius Network is going to get big 2021. So yeah.
Yeah, sorry. My bad, my comment. I misspelled it there. Celsius Network is basically number 16. Up 12.98%, almost 13% today within a 24-hour period at $6.78. I might look at that.
Yeah, it's a platform where you can do loans in cryptocurrency. So you can loan, borrow, and actually stake your coins for others to borrow. So it's actually a very good example for a DeFi service that I offer. That is
Okay.
currently in a revolution, like I like to call it. So
I've added this to my favorites list, and so I have my eyes on it now. Basically, I have a favorites list where I keep like an eye on my favorites. So I just added to that list.
yeah, when it concerns DeFi for investments, all DeFi tokens that follow the general trend of Bitcoin generally are worth watching. Those that go in the opposite side or do not grow as big generally are considered not as trustworthy and more on the I have to watch my language here. On the lesser side, I'm going to say.
Surprisingly, they didn't demonetize us on that last one, even though there was some cursing taking place. They didn't demonetize. So
Yeah, probably because I apologized, and well, they see, that gracious guy is a small fry on YouTube. So, watch out, YouTube.
So talking about DeFi, I mean that's what okay, let's go into this because I've been more into the mining and slightly into the trading zone in terms of like as a miner, obviously we cash in. But in terms of DeFi, what exactly does DeFi mean at first? I mean, for anybody who doesn't know, what does DeFi stand for?
Well, DeFi shortened for decentralized finance. In plain English terms, without too many to get too complicated, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's actually bringing about financial services to the blockchain. What are those financial services? Loaning money, borrowing money, options, stocks, etc., etc. It is important why it is actually the next step in finances that is gaining traction. Why? Well, borrowing money and stocks and options were always unique towards the classic market, towards the central banking system. Now with DeFi, well, you actually have the possibility to do so within the crypto markets. So it basically means you can take options on Bitcoin, that you can take options on Ethereum, Litecoin, any other Bitcoin. You can start borrowing Bitcoin that is available on the platform. You can start lending out, etc., etc. So it's really, how to say, well, the next evolutionary step of the crypto market. So a lot of possibilities are now enabled and being enabled still. Now, in many of my rantings, I'm going to say, I dare say that DeFi is something new. In reality, it isn't as new. It already exists a few years. I believe the very first projects were started somewhere 2016 and especially 2017 when, well, the first Bitcoin jump occurred. That people's, money started ringing and they said, yeah, well, how can we bring about certain financial services towards the blockchain? The very first projects were then, have known their inception since then. So yeah, that in short is actually decentralized finance.
Okay. Wow. So when it comes down to decentralized finance, what are the main, let's say it like this, without getting, extensive and comprehensive in terms of like a long list of like coins, who are the biggest players in DeFi?
In DeFi, well, it's still a kind of wild west going on. There's still some challenges, still some concurrence. I wouldn't say still some infighting between various coins and projects, but I dare say the big ones at the moment are Bancor. The first question we received, Celsius Network is one of them. I know which is high in value is Yuan Finance. There's also Uniswap, and there's another one, but Synthetics is also one quite renowned. And there's another one which name escapes me at the moment. I've mostly been focusing on Bangkok and Celsius Network at the moment. Okay. Uniswap is one of the next ones.
Now, I was under the impression that Ethereum was also somewhat involved in DeFi. How does Ethereum fit into DeFi and all of this? Because that's spoken a lot in conjunction to one another.
Well, first things first, many people who talk about cryptocurrency only see it as coins and tokens to invest in and hold, such as money. What many people seem to forget is that behind a coin and token, there's an entire project with a specific goal. Ethereum in this is actually a coin related towards a project to create decentralized applications. Um, there exist various ERC20 tokens and other ERC type of tokens, all being built on the Ethereum blockchain. So in reality, Ethereum isn't only a coin, but a platform to create applications and platforms that are built upon it. From this goal or this possibility, they actually extract most of their value. It's one of the reasons they're the second biggest coin, not necessarily because they lack a hard cap, if I'm not mistaken, but their value is detracted from all the different kind of coins and projects built upon it. Now, with DeFi, most DeFi efforts are based on the Ethereum blockchain because it lends itself so well to create decentralized applications. In order to do that, and that's also one of the things that is currently occurring, Ethereum is doing an upgrade of their blockchain and changing their consensus protocols in order to have a better scalability, but also to enable more projects to take place on the Ethereum blockchain without losing transaction speeds. So that's where Ethereum takes a bit of center space. Now, yeah.
So kind of connected to this right here, we have a question. It says, can you only pay gas fees in Ethereum?
No, everything depends on, the blockchain the DeFi project is being built. Now, most projects are focused on Ethereum, but many DeFi projects can also be built on a Bitcoin blockchain, on Litecoin blockchain, on different kind of blockchains. Now, this does not occur just by reason, those blockchains aren't really made to develop such applications. Ethereum on that one is one of the better. So most projects, practically almost all coins you can imagine, are ERC20 tokens. They are built on the Ethereum blockchain. So for gas fees, they will be using, Ethereum. Now, there might be a few projects who do not have gas fees in Ethereum because they're built on a different kind of blockchain. Simple as that.
Cool. So basically, decentralized finance built on top of the Ethereum blockchain, basically.
Correct.
So that you can have exactly that, decentralized financial services and goods, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, generally exchanges like to, see different kind of projects as digital goods, just to, authorize it towards the central banking systems. That's how exchanges generally work. Now, on the subject of exchanges, because, with DeFi, we start talking about decentralized exchanges, which work a tad bit different than the classical exchanges like Coinbase, Kraken, Binance, etc., etc. In order to be functional, a decentralized exchange, they generally create their own home coin, I'm going to say. By reason, with a centralized exchange, the default currency to which can be defaulted to is, fiat currency, your dollars, your euros, and those are once again attached to central banking system. Something, if you're a hardcore cypherpunk Bitcoin maximalist, is something you do not want. And that's also the philosophy after the first, Bitcoin market, it increased in value somewhere in 2017, and most DeFi projects were incepted, that they said, those exchanges are related towards the banking system. It isn't as decentralized as it should be for trade and exchange. So we're actually researching methods to exchange directly without making use of a third-party platform connected towards a central authority. With that in mind, decentralized exchanges try to mimic or put in a placeholder for value of your classic fiat currency. For example, with the Bancor network, you have the coin called Bancor. That coin is actually the intermediary for your US dollars or euros, with which you can start exchange Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., directly on the platform. Yeah, that in short is how decentralized exchanges work. You do not exchange towards, well, the default fiat currency, but at a home-built coin. With that home-built coin on the platform itself, you can easily exchange towards other coins. So yeah, that's a bit how it works. They put in a placeholder of value in reality. And likewise, well, it functions more or less the same as a centralized exchange like Coinbase. So, but instead of, well, being connected towards a central banking system, everything is kept on chain within the project itself.
Okay. So one thing in terms of decentralized finance, because like I said, this is all new territory for me also in a general sense. Where do tokens fit in this? Because we hear a lot about tokens in decentralized finance and this, that, the other. And I understand that tokens aren't entirely related to decentralized to DeFi, but somewhere it plays a role and a factor in there. What is a token?
Well, to understand their place within DeFi, you need to know the definition of a token. A token, I've mentioned it before, more or less. A token is a placeholder of value. So a token generally is backed by collateral, an asset behind in the project. For example, on a decentralized exchange, well, you've got a variety of tokens: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, DJX Gold, Basic Attention token, or whatever coins that are present. Those tokens, well, are during the buying and selling procedure are not immediately all sold off or all exchanged directly between users, but generally held in a wallet on the exchange somewhere, like traditional exchanges do.
Okay.
Now, in order for the value of the token, the value of the token is actually being brought about by the underlying assets. So the amount of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin that is being kept in the wallet and well distributed through smart contracts. So the value of a DeFi token depends on the success of the other tokens and the amount of users on the exchange doing the trades and exchanges. So that's why they call it a token and not necessarily a coin. Why? The collateral or assets behind change very frequently on a daily or even hourly basis. And the smart contracts try to enable to either stabilize its value or make sure there's still some value attached to that token that it can still be used on the exchange itself.
Okay, because I noticed when looking at like Ethereum in specific, and a lot of guys ask me about Bitcoin and mining Bitcoin and these types of things, but I haven't really done a lot of research on it. Although I do have a general knowledge of Bitcoin, I do most of my research on Ethereum because I mine it. So that said, when it comes down to DeFi, they always talk about how much money let me call it how much Ethereum is trapped in DeFi with Ethereum, and it's quite a significant amount. Where does that fit in? All of this Ethereum disappearing into DeFi and being locked down in DeFi. Can you explain that? Is that possible?
Yeah, that's because most applications are being built on the Ethereum blockchain. At this point in time, it isn't really possible to invest Bitcoin on, well, an Ethereum token. Why? It's two different blockchains. You can transfer Bitcoin on Ethereum blockchain. So in that regard, what most exchanges do is they make something which is called a wrapped Bitcoin. Well, I'll call it a wrapped Bitcoin or a wrapped coin, I'm going to say, which actually, well, basically means they're taking in a reserve of Bitcoin or any other coin and say, okay, this is the amount of Bitcoin that has been invested within the project, but we cannot transfer it on, well, the Ethereum blockchain because it's a different blockchain. So what we are going to do is place a value holder, a token, which represents the total amount of value being stored and received in, well, the wallet. And in that case, you can have, well, a wrapped Bitcoin Bitcoin being present on the Ethereum blockchain. It's actually a representation of an asset being held somewhere else off chain, but made available on another blockchain.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
actually a placeholder token, as they say.
And I'll just post this. I just got this. As of 7 December, The amount of ETH locked in decentralized finance, DeFi, is now over 7 million ETH, which is roughly 4.1 billion as of press time, December 7th, 2020. And that's a significant amount of money. So
probably going to grow even in the future.
Yeah, so I mean, can we take this as like a sign of how, let me think, what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to think of the right words here. How in demand DeFi services are. Can actually use this as a reflection. Yeah.
DeFi.
Yeah.
DeFi services are growing bigger and bigger with each passing day, especially when now big companies being clearly seen with the ongoing bull runs on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and plenty of other coins. Actually, governments, central banks, and big corporations meddling in the crypto markets. And many people are starting to get afraid, and they're like, yeah, okay, so they're buying up all cryptocurrency, but at the same time, new regulations are being launched so that the general users like me, Abuamerican, and many other investors will start to get noticed by the US Treasury, for example, or any other treasury of your native country. So they're starting regulations by saying on the central exchanges like, yeah, but you now need to verify your ID if you're going to make a transfer towards your private wallet, which implies they want to know exactly what your private wallets are, know how much you earned to leverage taxes.
Yeah.
And people do not want that because it's, hard-earned money through stress, investments made, and you do not want greedy corporations or government getting their hands on it. So decentralized exchanges are filling in a gap to say, no, remain anonymous, so no one can get towards your coins and your profits made. And especially now in the future with much more corporations and governments and central banks meddling in, more and more people are investing in decentralized finance just to make sure that, their money and profits remain safe and out of hands of a greedy government who has actually no dealings with your private financial affairs, period.
Indeed. Let me throw a hypothetical out there. What's to prevent a government from actually like getting into DeFi? I mean, they could technically do it, couldn't they?
They technically could. However, their own laws work against them. By reason, they need to have in many countries, I believe in almost all, somewhere in law, I'm not going to be specific, there is the need for transparency. They need to have, validated methods for identification. They cannot afford themselves to go decentralized entirely or to start dealing in anonymity, by reason they would be shooting in their own foot and against their own regulations. Should they do so, they will have to pay, especially here in Europe, towards the EU, fees and money towards the EU government because they're breaking their own laws. So they can't buy their own means. I'm going to say they actually locked themselves down many years ago in trying to regulate other assets like gold, etc., that you cannot own it anonymously, or that somewhere an ID verification is needed. Now with crypto, where everything is about anonymity, they want to they try to get in, but they're being struck down and chained by their own rules. So unless they can change them, which makes the regulations concerning cryptocurrencies so damn difficult for many, they can't really get in and only start saying, with central exchanges, we implore you to do some additional ID verifications towards external wallets not present on the platforms. At this point in time, that's their only stick to beat with. Otherwise, if everything remains on chain, so all the exchanges still free and good to go. And that's where DeFi comes in. It remains on chain, you remain good to go. There's no stick to beat you with. So
nice. Okay, all right, fair enough. That's great. But when we come back, just coming back to the hypothetical, in terms of like maybe third world dictatorships, they're generally unrestricted, and they could technically like get into this if they wanted to, like, you know, drum up cash. Like, if what's that guy's name, North Korea guy, if he wanted to get into like I can't
Yeah,
imagine.
little Kimmy.
Yeah. If you want to get into DeFi, he's not really restricted by any sort of government regulations. He could just say, we're doing this, and it could happen.
He could do so. Now,
Yeah.
the problem that guy would be facing, well, is his own market. By reason, many of those countries where cryptocurrency is being banned or is heavily regulated, well, the normal people, the ordinary folks, do not have immediate access towards cryptocurrency.
Mhm.
They can, because the software is free to download and everything is anonymous, but government trying to regulate everything and at the same time trying to enrich themselves, well, they do not immediately have a direct market to make their investments in, so they
Gotcha.
remain stuck with their own cryptocurrencies.
Mm.
And they can only trade on an international level, but as you know, there's international decrees and international agreements, and well, if poor Kim Jong-il really wants to invest his cryptocurrencies, his Bitcoin and Ethereum, he might get shoved on the side by, well, the exchanges themselves, by saying, yeah, well, North Korea isn't supported by us. Naturally, a bit of a genius will work out ways to, well, do the transactions anyway, but
Mm.
it's a lot more difficult than people would expect that would occur. So yeah.
Okay. So for the average person, how can the average person who's like, you know, maybe looking, I mean, a lot of people are just using, you know, cryptocurrency as a store of value to gain money, you know, earn
Mhm.
money. I buy it 800 and I sell it 2000 or whatever else. But in terms of DeFi, what can the average person do? How can they benefit? How does the average person take like DeFi technology built on top of, we'll just stick with Ethereum, on top of the Ethereum blockchain?
Yeah, you fell out a few times, but if I'm not mistaken, your question, what it does for the general person, you asked there,
Yes.
did
Yeah.
I? Well, it retains your anonymity. It enables you to actually get in more quickly into cryptocurrency. Why? A decentralized exchange will safeguards your anonymity, for
Mm-hmm.
starters, but at the same time, you're no longer connected towards a central banking system. So this implies you're actually, well, your assets are going to be much more secured. There's, well, and I'm going to get into detail with the services. Like if you want to own Bitcoin, but you have other coins which are not immediately available on another exchange, well, within DeFi, you can start loaning cryptocurrency. Say, for example, if you've got on your smartphone application towards a decentralized app and you say, yeah, well, I want to get in with Bitcoin and start trading with it, but I do not have the finances to have them, you can actually start loaning Bitcoin. Now, some people will say, yeah, but I can take the Bitcoin and close my decentralized application immediately. Yeah, not exactly. There's still an entire organism to make sure it remains on the platform. And
Mm-hmm.
should you make losses, well, that someone can still start banging on your door. Um, so yeah, there's still an entire system behind it. It is highly anonymous, but well, there's a variety. Well, can't find my words anymore. Sorry. Translating Dutch towards English here a bit too fast. So there's a variety of mechanisms presents which prevent you from, well, stealing money away from an exchange. By reason, the loaned Bitcoin, well, the Bitcoin you're going to loan and want to trade with remains on the platform itself. You cannot transfer it towards a private wallet immediately. But it gives you, well, the possibility to start making and start earning Bitcoin by lending, borrowing, etc., etc. Also, what can be done is if you say, yeah, well, I'm not interested in holding Bitcoin, which is a fatal mistake nowadays. Uh, you can say, well, I want to invest in the idea of certain coins in and take an option, a stock on a variety of projects. It now becomes available through decentralized finance. You can say, well, for example, there's a project on launch like P Network. entirely hypothetical. Yeah, and you say, I want to invest in it, but do not want to mine it, for example.
Hmm.
In that case, on decentralized finance, you can say, okay, I'm going to take an option or a stock on, well, the company who is developing P. And at that point, well, you own a stock or a part of the company, and depending on its popularity upon launch, etc., you can sell it off, cash in, or keep a part of the money. So that also is decentralized finance. Stocks, options, an entire stock market which is being launched on, well, in the crypto market. So it enables, well, crypto investors and enthusiasts to get some more feeling with financial services like stocks, options, investing, etc.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I'm doing a little bit of, searching here, and it's like, wow, I'm looking at some currently active DeFi services that people can actually use.
Yeah,
And
there's a lot. It's in full development. It opens up
I'm
a lot of
surprised.
possibilities. So it's one of my difficulties doing, well, today's show a bit to remain not all too technical and put it in simplified terms, because there is a lot going on. And well, finance in itself, I dare say it isn't as complicated, but to put it in layman terms is a bit more difficult than expected. I know well, many things in Dutch terms, but translating them towards English isn't as easy as it should be.
Yeah, this is part of the website out there. I think this is actually part of the Ethereum website. And this just covers, like, you can see how small the thing is over here, and these services that are being offered in DeFi. Smart contract based wallet enables users to manage their funds. These are wallets. I mean, you've got like derivatives here, finance options, decentral options protocol with multi-asset single pool model where option buyers can set their own options. Some of the stuff I don't even know what it is. Marketplaces. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
with
all sorts of stuff here, that you can do.
yeah with DeFi, actually, the principle of staking coins is getting more and more traction. More and more, well, exchanges. I even saw there the Coinbase wallet is actually a private wallet which enables you to stake in a decentralized sense. So you can earn money on the coins you own, but by staking them within your wallet or on the blockchain, you can earn even more, because those coins in return are being used to fund a variety of other projects, or even get other people who want to loan your cryptocurrency. So yeah, it's getting very, very big. Staking is actually one of the prime examples of a decentralized service in DeFi. So yeah, it is getting very, very, very big.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this stuff, and it's just like, insurance, lending. I mean, stuff that I would have never thought that you'd be doing over, over cryptocurrency. I'm actually quite surprised. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and most of those kind of projects, well, are were started somewhere in the summer of this year. So it's really starting to boost now. There are many projects also which started much earlier, but now are gaining more and more traction because of, well, Bitcoin's high value, and well, many DeFi services platforms are looking at Bitcoin in order to make some decent money. So yeah, the value of Bitcoin going upwards implies that DeFi will also go up, especially now with Ethereum running out their updates, and now increasing in value implies that, well, it's going to explode literally in 2021. There will be a ton more project being launched, and a ton of money going to be involved. So yeah, it's also one of the reasons many corporations at the end of December were starting to invest their money in Bitcoin and a variety of other altcoins. Even to this day, this is one of the reasons.
That's man, I'm actually surprised. So let me ask something else. So a guy wants to get into DeFi, but not from an investment standpoint. He actually wants to become like a project manager or something, in terms of like,
Mhm.
making a project or whatever else. What do you need to know to actually make these, smart contracts or, DeFi
You
systems?
need you need to know a lot about programming, and well, for starters, you need to know how to create your very own blockchain and very own coin, because that's one of the bases you will be needing to create your very own DeFi service. Um, DeFi services, well, it's something very hard to do when you're on your own, and you generally, at the very least, need an entire team of developers to do so. I know there's already a lot of projects where people, well, there's an entire team just to create a new coin with their own blockchain and to launch it. Well, with DeFi, you can easily double the amount of people needed in order to perform it. So, yeah. So, yeah, with DeFi, there's a lot of possibilities, a lot of work going on. So, if people are interested in, well, if they're programmers and interested in a variety of jobs involving the crypto market, I would just say, well, now's a great time to search a job with a variety of projects. Um, well, since everything is going to be digital and the decryption market is literally exploding with opportunities, now being a professional software developer or programmer, it's one of the best jobs you can have at the moment, and it pays very, very well.
Nice. So one thing that I think a lot of people think about is the security of it all. Using a new technology like this, of course, it's like, a bit. It's always something new, and so you're always kind of like, I think that's the whole hang up with people and purchasing cryptocurrency. They were just kind of like, is this good? It's sort of like Peter Schiff, he's always like, it's good. Bitcoin's going to go back to zero.
Yeah, but you need to understand Peter Schiff is, well, someone whose main focus is on gold. And personally, I like gold also, but I'm not as blind towards the possibilities with cryptocurrency. Which also brings me to the next point. In DeFi, well, stablecoins and, yeah, well, stablecoins, I'm going to say, are also going to start gaining in popularity. By reason, well, to have a solid token, I'm going to say, you want its value to remain stable, continuous over a long period of time, or slightly upward. You do not want a volatile token like Bitcoin being a token being used on a DeFi service. Why? It makes lending and offering the services very, very difficult. You will be needing additional calculating power just to keep up with the price variations. Because, for example, if we're having a chat at a moment where you want to start a loan with me on a decentralized exchange, by the time this conversation is over, I might have to adjust my contract about 10, 12 times in the span of just a few seconds because of the volatility of the Bitcoin value. Because, okay, at the moment it's jumping high up, it's consistently rising, but when it's stable, well, its value is fluctuating. And that's something you do not want. Central exchanges say, yeah, we default back towards traditional currency like the US dollar or euro. In reality, their value is also volatile, but not as much as cryptocurrency. So the introduction of stable coins is going to be very, very important. It's also one of the reasons that I dare say I haven't repeated as often, but to invest in asset-backed tokens like DGX Gold, which is being backed by, well, it's a coin being backed by a reserve of gold, and you can exchange the coin itself into, well, a certain amount of gold that you can own at that point. It is a stable coin. It is also increasing in value, but it isn't as volatile, and it makes it one of the more perfect coins to be used on the decentralized exchange. And that's one of the reasons, well, that's one of the things a decentralized exchange tries to do with their home built coins, to give it a stable value so that it does not fluctuate all too much. I believe the Celsius network token is a great example to follow. I need to look it up because it has been some time I've looked at the graph here. To make sure I'm not saying mistakes here, because I know a lot, but not everything. Price change 24 hours. Yeah, it was about a few cents here that I see. Yeah, okay, Celsius network is also exploding in value, but considering over the span of a month, it is quite stable actually. So it is a good example of a coin, well, of a stable coin can be used in decentralized finance.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I was just looking here because I have like some pool fees, and they were talking about stable coins, and they got like a few stable coins listed here: USDT, USDC.
Yeah,
And
yeah, those are coins I do not like all too much. By reason, those are tokens, well, cryptocurrencies being pegged to the value of the US dollar. And as we all know, the US dollar is actually decreasing in purchasing power, so it's losing value. Now,
Indeed.
to Americans, it might seem, yeah, but it's stable. Well, if you like me or Abuamerican here, you work with euros and you check out the exchange rates, euro versus dollar, you might see it's falling tremendously.
Yeah. I
And
mean, it's going to be to the point that pretty soon you're not going to be able to buy like one Ethereum with like the stimulus check that Trump wants to give out if this keeps up.
no, I've also subscribed to my Twitter account towards a special account, which every 4 hours gives an update how many satoshis $1 is worth. And last couple of days, it's falling. The amount of satoshis $1 equals to is getting very very small.
Yeah, it's getting bad. So we got a question here. What do you say about legal regulations that could halt or restrict crypto?
Well, many attempt to restrict crypto, but halting it is actually an impossibility.
Yeah.
By reason, well, cryptocurrency and everything related to it relies on anonymity. It is an online, well, event that's occurring. Very hard to trace, very hard to pinpoint on a single individual. They might try to regulate and say, yeah, well, we want to tax it all your earnings through central exchanges. Yeah, well, that's where DeFi comes in. You cannot tax something you do not know or can't attach a name to. So yeah, they might try to regulate, which they are attempting, but halting it is nearly impossible. Should they do so, well, almost all investors and owners will say, okay, we no longer pass through the central exchange, we do everything on chain. And at that point, well, governments will see, yeah, the market is still big. Yeah, because it's now underground where you can trace us.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
So, in
I
the best
agree.
interest of governments, well, they best work with the market and don't try to regulate or halt it.
Russia.
As yeah,
Russia's a classic example. I don't know if anybody knows, but the guy who basically programmed or is known as the programmer of Ethereum, his name is Vitalik Buterin or something like this. He's
Butelin, yeah.
Yeah, he's ethnically Russian, but he's an American citizen. And Russia invited him over, and Russia's courting him very hard, saying, "Hey, come here and set up. We'll give you the right to do basically whatever you want. Um, come here and do it." So even if the United States or Western powers like say, "Hey, you know what? We're going to shut you guys down," Russia's like, "Well, we see money," and Russia's not the type to leave money on the table. And they've already made moves to ensure that when it comes to cryptocurrency, they've got like a pretty solid position. And they didn't go chasing down anybody on Bitcoin or BTC. They went straight to Bitcoin. They could see very well, the future that Ethereum has.
Well, that's a bit cypherpunk nature of everything concerning cryptocurrency.
Mm.
Start regulating it, and it will blow up in your face. You're going to get, well, bitch slapped, as they say.
Yeah.
So, U.S. power and, well, most of Western society, EU, well, Europe, I'm going to say, because my
Mhm.
French is
European
too
Union.
worse
Yeah.
today. Europe, the US, they try to regulate, they try to, well, not going to say halt it, but get their fingers within, but are failing to do so. And
Miserably.
with that, they're pushing actually everything underground, where investors like me are going to say, yeah, well, okay, you want a piece of it? You can't have mine. I'm out. And well, for example, it's a discussion I had in well, Americans men's community also with Coinbase. Well, they how to say ninjat certain European regulations on their platform. somewhere in November, I suddenly got a little warning where it said, "Yeah, due to new European regulations, we will need additional ID verification." They already had a copy of my passport in order to trade and exchange,
Yep.
which in itself isn't as bad, but started asking for additional verification by reason, yeah, well, for the future, for the private wallets that are going to be attached, we want updated information so we can pass it through towards, well, your country of origin. And at that point, I said, no.
No.
Downloaded an external wallet, created another hardware wallet, removed all my funds from the platform, and am now, well, dealing everything on chain, off exchanges.
Nice.
So yeah, they're trying to ninja everything, but if you're a bit savvy and you know what you're doing, move immediately off the exchanges for trading and try to move everything towards a decentralized exchange. And Celsius Network, Bangkok, and many others, Uniswap also are trusted, offer decentralized services, are trustworthy. So they're worth checking out and do it as soon as possible.
Right.
Especially everyone here in Europe, move the funds immediately.
I mean, I have no problem. I mean, I stopped using Coinbase. I think I let you. I think you guys know why. In my men's community, they funds just disappeared for like, I don't know, it was a couple of weeks. It was really annoying. And I tried to switch to another platform. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Kraken. No, it wasn't Kraken. It was somebody else. They wouldn't serve me because I know what it is. I saw eToro. I think it was called eToro. They wouldn't serve me because I'm an American citizen. I mean, in Germany, and they said like, no, there's no way. You're just too complicated as a customer. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
eToro, well, not immediately experienced with it, but from others I've heard, they can be also PIA, to shorten it up. I'll let you fill in the words from those 3 letters. And with that, we do not get defunded on YouTube.
yeah, exactly. That's good too. So yeah, as an American citizen in a foreign country, you actually have like a lot of limitations when dealing with like a lot of exchanges. That Coinbase was actually so cooperative. Was surprised how cooperative. They gave me a really hard time. They didn't want to accept my U.S. passport. They didn't want to accept my national ID. I had to actually call them to get to accept my ID so that I could do trades and transfers with them. So something to think about if you're an American, living abroad and dealing with like these exchanges and trying to get into cryptocurrency. It's just really it's annoying.
In and in itself, Coinbase is a very good step up exchange so to get, well, familiar with a variety of coins, but do not stick on it too long by reason most of the services are automated, and it was one of the problems I encountered when I tried to access my funds. I was like, yeah, okay, service, come on, that's the problem. They do not want to verify my ID because I made multiple attempts to, well, have my ID verified so that I could stay on the platform to exchange fiat currency towards cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
But each and every time I received an automated response, and there, well, to a slightly trained eye from someone in sales, you immediately recognize a robot actually responding to your mail.
Yeah,
And each and every time they closed the ticket while the issue wasn't resolved. So at the very end, I said, okay, I'm out of here. Going to transfer my funds. Had to, badly enough, sell some of my assets because they weren't accepted on my other wallet. So I had them restocked in fiat currency, and I immediately invested them on another exchange towards, well, proper cryptocurrency. But that amount of time gave me some profits, especially now the current ongoing run, well, gave me some losses, not immediate profits. So that I'm still slightly pissed, I'm going to say, but yeah, nothing to do about it.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, these exchanges are problematic. Okay, so he said, currently using Kraken, will definitely look into Uniswap as I've heard positive reviews for it so far.
Uniswap is quite big, quite good actually. You've got a lot of coins that are present there, and they offer quite a lot of services. So yeah, it's one of the bigger DeFi platforms you can imagine that's present in the crypto market. So yeah, definitely do it. Uniswap is one which has my seal of approval, I'm going to say.
It's an app, huh?
Sorry, what?
Is it an app?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, it has an app. I still have to do heard a lot about Uniswap. I'm going to be honest. Didn't do as much investigation on it. If I'm not mistaken, they have an app. Currently, my research has been limited towards looking it up online a bit, looking at the technical details, and not as much on the possibilities that were available. From what I did notice during my research, I know there's a lot of coins present there, and that they offer quite a lot of services also. But I haven't really taken into account if they've got an app or something. I believe they do, but not entirely certain.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. I'm actually on their site. I'm just looking around. It's a web app. Actually, it's not an actual app. It's a launch app, and it's actually the web app. So yeah, actually, oh wow, okay. They don't. Interesting. Yeah, they have some coins on here that. Yeah. Okay. Well, they got the primary coins. It seems.
Yeah, they have a lot of possibilities. But like I said, I'm doing this here on memory alone. I know with the research I've done, there's a lot of possibilities there, and they're very trusted at the moment. So yeah, it's one of those things. If I see Uniswap, Celsius Network, or something, I dare immediately say, those are trustworthy. If there are other projects, I'm not going to name them by name immediately because I like to give all projects a fair chance. But there are a lot of decentralized exchanges where I'm like, don't.
Okay. Very interesting site, guys. Thanks for putting me onto this. Actually, I never heard of Uniswap. I'm going to save this here. If there's nothing else, I guess we can call this quit. I don't know what else we can talk about unless we missed something. Do you think there's something we missed in talking about the general basics of like DeFi? Is there something we missed?
Well, DeFi, like I said, decentralized finance, so financial services being brought about on the crypto market. The importance of tokens and stablecoins specifically for the use on decentralized apps. And the different kind of decentralized exchanges like Uniswap, Celsius Network, Bancor, etc. being three of the big ones. I'm going to say there are other trustworthy ones, but those three immediately spring to mind. So yeah, that's DeFi sounds complicated and big, but in reality, it's really something very simple. But when dealing with it, you just need to watch, read, and see what it's all about, and starting from that point, it becomes fairly easy. It's a bit like going to the bank for a loan. In reality, it relies on a simple principle. You ask the bank, can you loan me money? You do not need to know the mechanisms behind it. You get the money, you need to pay it back.
Yeah.
Same applies to DeFi, really, the services. You want something from a financial service, you inform yourself on a platform, an exchange somewhere, built on one of the blockchains. You do not necessarily need to know the mechanisms on which it operates, and you're good to go, really. So yeah, it's fairly simple. Even.
All right, guys. Well, I guess we're gonna call this then. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any sort of questions, comments, whatever else, you're looking for information, like always, where can they find you? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Here we go. Last minute question from a newbie. What is the most trustworthy and private exchange you guys recommend to buy crypto? Which one to sell it? So I guess it's two questions in one, but basically same thing. Where to buy and sell in the most anonymous way possible.
Well, if you're a newbie, I know I've been burning down Coinbase slightly, but if you're a newbie, just start on Coinbase, buy yourself some cryptocurrency, and after a while, just transfer your funds towards a decentralized exchange like Celsius Network, like Uniswap, just to remain entirely anonymous. To make sure you remain anonymous, be sure to also invest in a private wallet. Well, download a private wallet, you can do that, or buy a hardware wallet, and then move towards a decentralized exchange to trade in between tokens. So if you want to exchange Bitcoin towards Ethereum, etc., do it through Uniswap, do it through Banco, do it through the Celsius network, etc., etc. But at this point in time, sadly enough, you still need to pass through a central exchange like Coinbase. I'm not going to say Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, and other central exchanges to buy yourself some cryptocurrency. As soon as you have them, move them towards a decentralized exchange. That's the only advice I can give at the current time.
Cool. Yeah. There was something I was thinking here. Yes. What was it? It was Ledger, I believe it is. Nano. They have like a kind of a built-in platform. It's limited in terms of exchanging crypto for crypto or fiat for crypto and vice versa. So you can also check that out. I'm not sure what sort of information they seek from you since I've never tried it, but I do know that they do have a little micro exchange. So does Trezor actually inside of their entire services that they offer. So if you buy a cold wallet from them, there's actually the ability to actually trade also, to buy, purchase, sell. Sometimes, like with Trezor, I've tried it, they send you off site. So basically it's like a partner site or something. And then there you might have to give some specific information. I haven't tried this with Nano, but it might be worth looking into, because in general, Trezor and Nano, they don't ask you for much other than your email. That's probably an option that you can look at also.
Yeah. Also, I just said, well, the easiest way to buy yourself cryptocurrency with fiat currency is through a central exchange. Now, if you know some miners and they are willing to sell off their coins, that's even better. You say, well, okay, I'm going to make a transaction, that amount of money, and you send me, well, the necessary amount of Ethereum. Naturally, it implies you must know the miner, trust him, that he's a fair guy, etc., etc., etc. But it's one of the most direct ways, and make sure you do not necessarily need to open an account on a central exchange. Why? Well, everything remains on chain. You remain entirely anonymous. But I know most of the time, well, and it's still the easiest part, just go towards a central exchange like Coinbase, Kraken, etc., buy your cryptocurrency there, because I know, and that's actually quite fair for most miners, they want to remain anonymous. By reason, well, they don't want the banks and governments behind them trying to taxate their earnings on, well, their coins. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get taxed either. Those guys, they're always after me for money and everything else. So yeah, absolutely. Peer-to-peer in terms of like direct peer-to-peer, like, you know, from a miner to a, no, it's not.
No, it's a centralized exchange.
Yep.
And I know some people ascribe to crypto.com, but I don't know. To me, they vibe slightly wrong. So I do not trust them immediately for, well, based on gut feeling. No direct experience with them. Perhaps some others have positive experiences, but to me, no, they vibe a bit wrong. Well, it's a bit like eToro in my case. I know eToro, not immediate experience, but from what I heard from Abuamerican.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I mean, I opened up a crypto.com account. Sorry. I was reading something, and I've never used their services. But apparently there are better services out there. What was one? WireX or something like this. They offer lower percentage. What made crypto.com appealing to me is, as a miner, obviously cryptocurrency stacking up. And so I could send it to them and tap pay, you know, or withdraw, you know, fiat currency with my crypto from that wallet. So if I know I want to go do a fiat purchase with my crypto, like let's say mining equipment or something, and I know I want to stick my mining money to my mining equipment, I can use that card and spend my crypto to buy mining equipment, which is going to earn me crypto. But otherwise, it's not really, you know,
interesting. Yeah.
Just a headache right now.
Yeah, well, luckily, and that's one of the, how to say, recent evolutions with many more companies finally adopting cryptocurrency. I like to remain good tradition with Bitcoin, and here in Belgium you have some kind of takeaway.com, so I buy pizzas with my Bitcoin.
Nice.
My very first purchase actually was cheese pizza, which, if I'm not mistaken, was the exact same pizza that was being bought with the very first Bitcoin. I was like, yeah, okay, if I'm going to do my first purchase with cryptocurrency, let's make it count and keep up the traditions.
Nice. Oh man. Okay. $5 super chat from Tuco Salamanca. Thank you very much. He says, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Jazakallah Kareem, Jazakallah for the super chat. Guys, if nobody else has any sort of questions or comments or whatnot, Gracious, how can people get in contact? How can people get in contact with you if they have questions about Bitcoin, DeFi, this, that, the other cryptocurrency?
Well, I'm going to pull it here. This is my website, and actually, if you're on the front page, there are a variety of social media icons. If you click on them, you can immediately reach my channels, my Twitter, my Instagram, etc. There, you can simply pop up a private message or direct message if you're a follower, and I will try to respond as soon as possible. But yeah, I work during the days, and I must admit sometimes I'm slightly bit slow to follow them up.
Okay. Oops, sorry. That covers it up. I want to make sure I thank my man properly. So here you have here, gracious.com. You can go on there. You can find all of his social media. If you have any sort of questions, concerns, whatever else, you're looking for products to learn about it, as like Gumroad courses and everything that you can learn off his website. Check him out. Guys, thanks for tuning in. We will be back next Sunday. We'll figure out a topic. If you have one, hit me up or hit Gracious Interest up on Twitter, and we will consider your topic. We'll probably cover it, but we're trying to go from the start, the beginning. So everybody, noobs and guys who don't understand or know anything, but you keep hearing about Bitcoin, crypto, this, ETH. We want to try and bring everybody up to speed, myself included sometimes. This was very informative for me. So guys, tune in, hit us up. We're out. Thanks for showing up, guys.